What up my ninjas, Alopex here, and welcome to my review of Tokka versus the world. The episode, much like the title, was quite badass. Before I get into all that good stuff, I do have a few nitpicky issues to mention. First off, I would have appreciated this episode more if it aired right alongside Mutant Gangland, just so we can establish this arc of humanity's prejudice against mutant kind, even the mutants who have helped the city and protected humanity. When it's aired right close to the season finale, it feels out of place because we are expecting some Shredder versus Hamato clan suspense. And what does General Griffin or the Earth Protection Force have to do with any of that? Technically they don't, and based on everything I've read, they aren't showing up in the season finale. So it feels a little off. Maybe I'll be wrong, maybe they will show up, the possibility exists. It's just not very likely. On top of that, sadly this episode was not a character-driven episode, even though it was so close. And I love character-driven plot lines because they feel so natural, feel so right. Plot-driven episodes, on the other hand, not that they're inherently bad, they're definitely easier to write, but there are always moments when something improbable happens, whether it's a miracle or whether someone messes up when they usually don't. Just weird moments because the plot demands it. That moment for me in this episode was when Mikey and Casey got captured just for the sake of getting captured. Not necessary, but it was necessary for the plot, that was all. Now, I mentioned I was going to be nitpicking. Those were very minor issues. The writing in and of itself, first off, solid. From consistency, it actually mentioned the power inside her, which was great. Even the unifying theme though, it was so profound. This episode was all about getting to know someone before you, I don't know, start attacking them. Say how the Earth Protection Force and the military reacted to Tokka. Immediate attacks, even though all she wanted was to reunite with her baby. That's not so horrifying, even if she is a gigantic fire-breathing kaiju. When you really think about it, like the Earth Protection Force wasted all sorts of ammunition, gas, and soldiers, like they actually risked soldiers' lives when all you had to do was even just climb a tall structure to get to Tokka's eye level, present her with her baby, and sing Circle of Life. That's all there is to it. Real talks though, the Earth Protection Force also was incredibly cruel to the turtle, specifically Mikey. It gets me. It really gets me. And just considering that the turtles are the original, the OG EPF, that ain't cool. That ain't nice. Nuh-uh. Moving on from the heavy, this episode had plenty of lighthearted, funny, and really cool references to enjoy that really lifted the mood. The elevator scene, I gotta mention it. Not to mention Splinter's one-liners. And as I said, the references, there's Godzilla, there's Gamora, not like Guardians of the Galaxy Gamora, I mean Gamora from Japanese films. And I'm actually going to give a shout out to Sea Salt on Reddit for mentioning that. I did not know about Gamora until I read that comment and looked it up. Of course, Andre Blackner, I always have to talk about Andre Blackner because he's awesome and cool. His mention of Get Smart from Donatello's line, you missed it by this much, something along those lines. If there were any I didn't mention, just comment down below on the ones you enjoyed. No doubt that Raph has come a long ways since Splinter advised him to control his temper, letting insults wash over him like a river over stone. Well, that was a beautiful moment, but bringing it back to the present day, Raph has grown to be less angry and more of a passionate warrior with a heart of gold. Not only does he support his brothers when the time commands, he even entered a very romantic relationship with Mona Lisa / Agitba. So clearly this warrior will even wear his heart on his sleeve. So why is it so hard for him to admit these feelings out loud? Hasn't he gotten over this already? Especially now that we're talking about a pet turtle, not a girlfriend? It took me some thinking to get through this as well, but first off, let's be honest, this is the passionate side of Raph's personality that we're talking about, not his logical side. It's not supposed to make sense in every scenario. Not to mention that Raph is still our resident tough guy, not just because of this residual image we have of him from way back in the day, but also because he is powerful and strong physically speaking. So because he has this, I guess, an image to keep up, not to mention that he's vulnerable whenever he has these very strong, raw feelings, he doesn't want to be humiliated, he doesn't want to risk that torment. Better, I guess, to just keep it inside. I am so happy that he actually admitted to Chompy that he loves the little guy, he's his best bud. That was a beautiful moment. But it had me wondering, is this it for Raph? Are we gonna keep revisiting this issue because Raph can't admit he loves someone until it's almost too late? I think for now, Raph has gotten over this particular road bump, because when the turtles teased him about his feelings later, he didn't get angry at them because of the teasing. He wanted them to be more respectful to Tokka. So that was a nice little bit of progress for Raph. Since we're talking about keeping people you love close to you and taking care of them, it makes sense that in this episode, Mikey would more or less co-star along with Raph. He definitely wears his heart on his sleeve and chooses to see the best in people. It made it all the more cruel for General Griffin to actually try to dissect Mikey without even talking to the guy. Now, this loving and nurturing aspect of Mikey's personality is surprisingly similar to Raph's. The relevant difference between the two is that Mikey couldn't care less about keeping up appearances or false bravado. Oh, I suppose he believes that it's not necessary and distracts him from what's important, but I also believe he's just not much of a thinker. That being said, you know what? It was important for Mikey to shine in this episode to really show us what Raph is missing. With Raph and Mikey kind of getting more time to shine, the other turtles kind of slid back to the background. However, they actually still had important roles to play. So Leo, you know, the leader, he's the more practical turtle, and actually thought through several possibilities before coming up with his winning plan. Even when setbacks happened, he rolled with the punches and improvised. Not surprising, you know, it's Leo, but important to mention nonetheless. Donnie as well was in his element, technology galore, and he even held his own in a fight, which is definitely rewarding to see from Donnie. On top of that, Splinter, you know what, because we're talking about all the Hamato clan members, Splinter was there for them too. He was, of course, actually advising Raph here and there about how to take care of little old Chompy, but he even had his witty one-liners, which get me every time. I would have maybe even appreciated a little more father from him, but you know what? I'll take what I got, and Splinter was excellent in this episode. Casey, I still rolled my eyes with some of his antics, like when he complained about being left behind and then subsequently got caught. Kind of ironic. That being said, I did not mind in any way the decent action scenes he had, not to mention his finally volunteering some solid ideas to the team. As Splinter said, he was due. Sadly, I don't know if this competent stint from Casey will last, especially considering this episode wasn't a particularly significant character development for him, but you know what? I look forward to being pleasantly surprised. Now, the Agent Bishop first appeared in the 2003 show as the leader of the Earth Protection Force, and back then he was the villain against the Turtles for most of the show until fast forward when he became an ally for them. Now, this particular 2012 show puts a very different spin on Bishop. Now, do I mind? Not at all. Well, first off, as I said, I love the 2003 show, so any references I see in this particular show, I'm excited about. But seriously as well, Bishop is still a kick-ass character. He takes names, as another reviewer mentioned, but he's allies with the turtles from the get-go, which means I can actually root for him without feeling bad. So I'm super excited about it. Now, on the topic of 2003 references, the Earth Protection Force is yet another one. It's made an appearance here in the show before, though, when it actually dealt with Crank Prime rather unsuccessfully. Now, it seems like they're trying to learn from their mistakes. I've more or less recruited Bishop to help them improve their strategies. Sadly, that partnership did not really last, and that's because General Griffin, their new leader, is a bit of a dink. Quite a bit of a dink. He is so ruthless, but he's also the most sophisticated villain yet. Like, he's not a mobster. Most people would actually call him an upstanding citizen, especially with all the medals on his jacket. Oh, so this makes it all the more thrilling. Why? Because this upstanding human being is still so cruel to the mutants. And take a look at what he doesn't do as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a ruthless commander, he gets things done, but I think his real villainy lies in what he does not do. And in particular, how he does not actually interact or talk to the turtles at all. When he interacted with Mikey and Casey, he spoke only to Casey and talked about the mutant as if the mutant wasn't even there. Like that, that was just, that makes my skin crawl. Even Vizioso, as despicable as that mobster is, even he talked directly to the mutants, even if it was with derogatory terms like mutie. That's it for my review, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on Tokka versus the world. I would love to hear your own, though. Comment down below with your thoughts, feelings, and ideas regarding the episode or my review. I'm excited to talk to you guys as well about Tales of Tiger Claw coming up, especially with Alopex. If you watched my Deadly Venom review, you know I'm psyched for new female characters, but especially Alopex. So officially, I want to know, how do you feel about Alopex's introduction? Until next time, my ninjas.